So I used to always say, like, like, how do you give your all? How do you give all your problems? How do you give all that stuff to God? That makes no sense. Like, I can't get that out of my mind. So I started realizing what it meant to give your all to God, and just giving your struggles, your pain, your worries, all that to God. Just He has the victory, and just we're supposed to just give it all to God. Just take it off our backs and give it all to God. So I understand. When you got everything in the world going on, I'm talking battles, storms, pain, struggles, all that. And instead of just operating maybe this way or that way, or maybe going to the world for your answers, or trying to do other things, or getting upset or moving the way you shouldn't, coming home after a long day of all those pains and battles or closed doors, just coming home and just like coming to talk to God and spending time with God, not to complain. Just come home and say, you know what, God, you are so good. You know what, God, I thank you so much for being who you are in my life. And it's just by doing that, before we even get started, probably, like, God just He just begins to move. And it's so amazing how it's really amazing. Like, when He sees that act of faith, when He sees that we're not moved by those things, He already starts moving on our behalf. He sees, okay, they're giving me all of it to me, I'll take care of it. That's what He wants us to do. He wants us to give it all to Him. And when we do that, things start to move on our behalf automatically. People who come up against us, you'd be surprised how He could turn those situations around. Closed doors, He opens new ones. It's these things. When we go to God with things in all aspects of life, when we go to God with things happen, things change, things move. He wants us to give Him that floor. We can't keep trying to do all this stuff on our own. He wants the floor, we got to give it to Him. He wants the will, we got to give it to Him. My boy told me this. He always talks about give God your will, and I used to be like, what? Like, what you mean? Like, and it's like we sometimes we take the driver's seat. We take the driver's seat in our life. We'll be driving, and say so-and-so's like, yo, what's up? Let me get in the car with you. It's like, all right, what's up? Come on. And it's like they're in the car with us, and we driving. Halfway down the journey, you regret it. You're like, this person is bringing me down. This person is draining me. This person is like, gotta go. And then sometimes in those instances we go, come on, God, why you put this person in my life? Or come on, God, why this, why that? And it's like, no, God never told them to get in the car. You invited them, And it's like when we do that in our lives, when we grab the wheel, we tend to do things that God never said do. God never said go. God never said speak. God never said move. And we do certain things, and it's like, nah. And it's okay, as long as you recognize it and say, okay, God, here's my wheel. You drive this car. You be my pilot. I'll be the co-pilot. And once we give our trust back to God, once we give Him the wheel, He says, thank you, gets back in the driver's seat, and He starts to move. He probably tell you to be quiet from now on, put your seatbelt on and just enjoy the ride. But it's like, we gotta stop taking our will back, and that's okay. We do it a lot. You're gonna do it a lot. We do it a lot. We be like, yeah, we trust God, and then maybe tomorrow, oh, I'm sorry, God, forgive me. I grabbed the wheel because it's like an instinct. We just want to do. Sometimes we want to do things ourselves. I was a control freak when it came to my life. I wanted to do everything my way. I wanted to be right. I was not trying to hear trust God. If something was happening right now with this person or that person or this thing or this opportunity, I'm gonna know I gotta do it, or I want this done this way. With my own life, I didn't like the whole give it to God. I didn't understand it, but now I understand. When we do things on our own, we're subject to everything now. Even in relationships, if you're trying to, I'm talking seriously date. I'm not talking about if you just, oh, I like so and so and I'm just about to try it. I'm talking seriously date. Give God your will, honestly. Pray about it. Ask for signs. Don't ignore those signs. Just give God your will in everything you do, and you'd be surprised. And sometimes it's hard to hear. Sometimes we don't want to lose so-and-so because we're like, no, I love them. And it's like, God's like, that's not who I have for you. So just give God your will, even if it sometimes hurts. Just understand that God knows what's best for you, and you have to accept His will for you in your life. You guys, God, I trust you. God, I know you want what's best for me, so I'm going to trust you. I may not like that I'm losing so-and-so, but I'm going to trust you. I may not like that I got to skip out on all these things, but I'm going to trust you. I may not like that I got to not hang around so-and-so anymore, but I'm going to trust you. We got to give God our will in everything we do. School, and anything you could think of right now in your head, give God your will. Just give it to Him. So that's basically how you just take off loads and just give it to God and worship. Spending time with Him. Don't complain. He knows what you're going through. You don't need to tell Him. He sees it. Worship Him. Love on Him. Tell Him how good He is. Keep trusting Him. Things move.